The word success to me is the attainment of a predetermined goal. That's all it is. I think the most important thing that you find out is what you're good at. I am going to do this. I'm going to do this. But failure isn't an object. If it wasn't for us in this room, this world wouldn't exist. Because we are the keys of the economy. We are entrepreneurial spirits, you know. Every relationship you should get into, everybody, can I share, do I care, and do I trust? Because that's the most important thing in the world.
You're just like, in general, you're just one of the most energetic people that I know, and you're awesome. And I've had the good opportunity to spend a good chunk of time with you, and you've been a huge supporter of Genius Recovery. And so I just want to get into it because this guy knows a lot. And so, and you know, it's funny, I threw down the questions and I kept the bio. Oh boy, I'm a real piece of work here today. All right, not that I even need them. What did I not say about you that people should know?
I got the most fantastic wife in the world.
Yes.
What, honey, stand up, please. Just say hi.
Yeah, that's Rita. Go ahead, Rita, stand up.
She's got me on trial still, by the way.
Yeah.
So no. I hope I do good.
Yeah. And by the way, I wouldn't even know you if it wasn't me talking with Rita. And for Jennifer, who invited me to an event while I was on my sabbatical, and it was like a party in North Scottsdale at at a private a sky share, and so I just decided to go to this thing because I wasn't. Am I on? Yeah. I started talking to Rita about depression and about addiction, and then she introduced me to you, and then you're like, hey, I love what you're doing. Can I support it anyway? I remember saying, well, I'm on a sabbatical, so I'm not doing any business stuff, and we just became friends.
That's right.
And that's kind of where it started. We've been hiking and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, we've done quite a few things together. So you do have an amazing wife.
But I don't say that lightly, because especially at this part of your life, I say from the 50s, 60s, 70s, a lot of you are younger, but this is now when you're choosing your spouse. But it's the critically most important thing in your life, for me, 100%. So yeah, thank you. Yeah. Because it's you share everything, and when you go through your whole life, you do your work, you get your kids, you raise your family, but in the end there's you too, And for Rita and I, it's been a blessing. We've been together 37 years now, and every day is just a new day. So I want to just get that clear first.
Every day when you say a new day means some of those days must have sucked.
Oh yeah, a lot of them. And I thought I'd go through some of that, the starting up, the difficulties, the things like that, and getting started. I remember once when I was kind of just really getting going, get my steam under me, and I was out of the Army, and one of the most important lessons I learned, that I never realized how powerful it was for everything, is I started as a salesman selling mutual funds when I got out of the Army. And I had a sales manager who just got lucky again. One big part about my success has been luck. I just seem to get the right people at the right time. Somebody once said the harder you work, the luckier you get. Maybe that's what it is, because I'm a hard worker. But I feel like my staff, my team, Joe, Eunice, people are angels, literally, and they carry me. I sort of blunder my way through, make mistakes, lose things, all this type of stuff. And I guess I learned very early in my own career, and I was going to say, when you were talking, Joe, you remind me, when we're born, just imagine in our heads is like a deck of cards. Every one of us here are just a deck of cards. And some of us have got aces, some of us have got, you get your hand that you get played. When you're born, you have nothing to do with it. You got a hand. And I think the most important thing that you find out is what you're good at. What is your natural ability? And when you get your natural, I learned, like when I learned in the Army, it kind of was communication. It was being with people, visualizing, and being, and so as I moved along, I learned that get people around you that can do the stuff you're bad at, and then you do the stuff that you can do. And always in everything that I've had, and you mentioned the Four Seasons Hotel. That was the vision. I was the vision guy. I came out of Canada, and I had a bunch of real estate. I sold some stuff. I come down here, what to do? And I looked around. I know real estate and I know franchising. So I looked at this land. Somebody said, well, there's land. Go at the other end of the desert, and it was at the end of in those days, 25 years ago, it was like nowhere. And I looked at this piece of dirt, and I don't know. I just looked at it and I said, wow, golf course and the city and the energy and all that. I thought, this is going to be amazing, And I didn't know Izzy Sharp, the chairman of Four Seasons. I didn't know him at all. I just saw Four Seasons. I just saw in my head there would be a Four Seasons hotel there. So I got back and I learned that I was going to go back to my first lesson in selling. When I first started selling, my manager, I said, well, how do you sell? How do you make presentations? How do you do all that? He said, here's the secret. 18, 3, and 1. What does that mean? 18 calls, 3 presentations, and you'll get a sale. What about this? What about that? No, that's the most important thing you do. Don't take any failure from somebody saying no to you until you make 18 calls, get 3 presentations, get 1 sale. And I carry that through me to today, all my time. In fact, I used to take 18 paper clips, put them in my pocket here, and at night I didn't go to sleep. I had the 18 paper clips over here.
Wow.
Just that simple.
That's smart.
Just that simple. And so I did that. Well, you do 18 calls, 3 presents a day. Probably most guys would do. They try and do 3 no calls, 1 presentation, and 1 sale. That's what you kind of try to do. But if you do the 18, I didn't know. I got out of the Army. I don't know anything about selling or anything, and you kind of learn as you go along, and then you learn how to handle people. You learn how to take control of meetings when you need to take control, and you learn all the nuances of getting to the close. And you just learn those naturally. And anybody here can sell if you do 18, 3, and 1. You don't have to be that good. You'll get 1 sale. But if you've got a propensity to be a salesperson, you get better, and you find out you don't need to make 18 calls. You can make 15 calls. All of a sudden, next thing you know, and I remember in the office, I used to have all these calls, and then you learn to ask for referrals, and then you learn as you're going through it, you make all these presentations, and at the end they tell you they got no money. So then you realize, I should maybe ask that up front. Find out who I'm talking to, But you learn you don't have to be smart. I've often really said, and I want to say, some of the Genius Network, and I want to share something, Joe, you triggered another thought. I am a pure example that you don't have to be smart to be successful. But what you have to be is kind of intuitive, and you have to be open-minded to say, I come back to the deck of cards again. So I think I got maybe dealt 1 ace. That was the vision. I'm pretty good at, I'm going to talk about the visualization and vision, but I'm not good at a whole bunch of things. But like Rita is fantastically good at organization, at just so many things. So I don't need to be, because she is. I've got a CFO. He's phenomenal. I got a guy, Mr. Fix-It, that works with me. Matt, he's been with me 28 years. And something in my world breaks, no matter where it is, if I own a piece of it up here, he goes fixes it. For the partners, we got for example, a deal right now in Seattle. It's a problem because Seattle was just killed with the COVID and all that, and homelessness. And it's just horrible, the city of downtown Seattle right now. If anybody's from Seattle, they know that. And we have a doggy daycare there, and it's like a disaster. It's just a disaster. Well, I send Mr. Fix-It in. Next thing you know, daily numbers and things are happening. You go. So you take other people. You need 4 aces to get by. To have a 1,000% life, you do need 4 aces. But you don't have to be that 4 aces. With the Genius Network, what you guys do in this room here, you might have an ace. You got another ace. You got there's 2 aces over here. There's all these different levels of amazing experiences in the room. With, Joe, you have nothing that, like, one thing I like to call it, what you get when you come here is sharing, caring, and trust. You feel safe in the environment that Joe creates, and in that safe environment, your genius can come out. In that safe environment, and that's what you as individuals in your organization need to create up front. Create a safe environment for the people. How do you get that? Have you seen a guy more transparent than Joe? You get, like somebody say that about me. What you see is what you get. That's with Joe. There's no surprises. You see what you get. Well, that transparency. Well, that isn't that. That's like common sense. They say common sense. It's not that common. Actually, and so when you have that type of environment, that's why Genius Network is successful, because you all here get to share your brains and elevate each other. You get, when you do that meeting of 4, you get 3 more brains in your head, figuring out, looking at it from a different perspective. I'm sure each one of you got so much out of that meeting over each other's goals and plans. So using the deck of cards, Joe, anyway, that's...
No, that's great. Thank you. And by the way, I was getting a little note that do we need to put another mic on him?
Rubbing against his buttons.
Oh,
The less you move, the better.
that's a tough one.
I'll get something.
Okay, yeah.
Stuff.
So, no, I want to
Good.
definitely make sure we capture all this because it's great. And by the way, so Peter's new book, The Dream Factory, there's a chapter in here that I wrote, which is great. I sent a copy to every Genius Network member. This is what, your 6th book?
A 5th.
5th book, okay. And so,
Sure.
some people here have read it. For those that haven't, what's it about? What's the Dream Factory even mean?
Well, I'm involved with an organization called the Global Student Entrepreneur Awards program, and it takes kids who are trying to be entrepreneurs, and they're going to school, and they can compete for a Shark Tank type of a contest, and they get to win. Like Phoenix has got a place in it, and every city in the States and every city in all across the world we have this, and so these kids all compete, and as the winners come up, they get to win. The entrepreneur, the final is the entrepreneur of the year. You get the entrepreneur of Phoenix, then the entrepreneur of the U.S., and then the entrepreneur of the world. And so that program is very dear to my heart. And so what I thought I put down, I can tell you guys what to do and tell you, well, here's what you do. But then I thought maybe I should write some of this down so that people could have it in the future as future references. So if you go into the Dream Factory, that is, you come out a successful entrepreneur. So if you read the book, listen to what it says. It just gives you the things that I've found are critically successful. And there's 3 or 4 things that, if you get those mastered, you can become a very successful entrepreneur.
We're going to come to some of those things. What I want to, so, you know, in America, there's a book that Michael Fishman really likes called The Culture Code. And the question of what do you do, the code is who you are. So
right.
we look at, like, when someone says, what do you do? Like, your career, your business is your identity. It's who you actually are. And there's, I think there's a lot of misconceptions with success. I mean, you clearly have a lot of money. You have a couple of private planes. I mean, you've done very well financially. You've mentored God knows how many people over the years. But you work out every day. You should watch this guy's new Instagram channel. He's just started it. It's hysterical and it's great. It's like him working out. It's really good.
Follow me. Follow me.
Yeah,
Have some fun.
yeah. No, plus you're trying to build it too, so you might as well have people follow you, right?
Yeah.
And so you know.
What is it? Peter H. Thomas.
Peter H. Thomas.
It's on Instagram and LinkedIn.
Yeah.
A couple more. Facebook.
Yeah, so I mean, it's like it's one of these questions where there's so many different ways to answer. People
Sure.
have their canned answers, but how would you define success at this stage in your life?
Well, the word success to me is the attainment of a predetermined goal. That's all it is. It doesn't matter whether it's money, whether you're a mom having your first baby, you know, whether you're going to a school examination, no matter what you are. So get your head around success, to be successful at the outcome, and surround the people you surround yourself with. The reason I became successful, I think, is because of these angels again guiding my path. That once I set my goal on whatever that job was, like the 18-3-1, well, I just took that one formula and used it and believe. The other thing is believe in people. Like when people tell you something, try it. You know, try it. Usually the simplest way is the best way.
Right.
And I think I was a real learner. And you know, in the Army, there's another saying. They say that, like, when the sergeant says duck, you don't say why. You know? Martha likes that one. Yeah, you duck. Well, business is no different. And Joe, you reminded me, you know, as I got into business, got more into business, when I was I'm 85, like I said, so I've been at this for about 50, 60 years. And I remember when I was a young businessman getting in business, the image of a businessman was a fat guy with a cigar. That was what you saw as a business guy. And you know, I just abhorred that because I wasn't that guy. I didn't feel like that guy. I didn't like that guy that was that guy. And I think one of the things that drives me is, if it wasn't for us in this room, this world wouldn't exist. Because we are the keys of the economy. We entrepreneurial spirits, you know. We're so necessary that I know one of the things I want for my life is so you can be proud of being a business person. You can hold your head up high and be very proud of what we do for the economy and for the world. Because without us, it wouldn't work. It just wouldn't. So, so I think that's keeps me driving.
No, okay. So you built one of the most successful real estate franchises in the world, Dogtopia. Has anyone ever Heard of Dogtopia? That's one of his businesses. And so you've been the chairman emeritus of EO since 1974?
Yeah, no, I can't remember. Yeah, 70.
Yeah.
We got it started. The
I was
Entrepreneurs
only-
Organization.
I was 6 years old at the time. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And so, you're one of the most successful franchises in the world. And I remember when I first met you, you said, I know a lot about real estate, I know a lot about franchising, right?
Yeah, and that's it.
And how have you done so much but stayed within, if you have, maybe this is, you haven't, stayed within your wheelhouse, stayed within that zone of genius, stayed within the areas where you really have excelled?
Well, my experience sort of has been, if I stay in real estate and franchising, usually that's okay. Then whatever I make there, I blow it, trying other stuff.
Yeah.
'Cause the other stuff usually doesn't work for me.
Oh, what do we call? We were talking one day about investing in startups, and you're like, what was that term you used? It's just like charity money half the time. You know the money's going to go away. You're like, you feel
pity.
Yes, yeah.
Like
So-
people come to you, and they have something for 50,000. So you just, well, it's only going to cost me 50 grand. So you invest it, knowing you'll never get it back. So one day I looked at, I had about 20 or 30 of these $50,000 on my balance sheet. The accountant says, like, what are these for? And I said, almost everyone didn't work. Like they did not make any money. So I thought, well, maybe I should quit doing that.
Well, it goes back to sometimes the best thing are the simplest things, right?
Yeah.
And
Well, how I learned that, by the way, Joe, I can tell you what I learned. So it's really hard to say no. Like, I'll meet somebody here, and you guys say, look, I'm starting my deal up, and I'm doing this and this and this, and do you want to invest 50,000? And well, gee, you're a nice person. It's hard to say, no, I don't. I don't.
God, please don't anyone hit him up for like an
No, but I'll tell you my deal now. I say, you know what? I'd like to take all of it. The whole thing. Well, how much? What are you raising? 6 million. Okay, I'll take the 6 million. I want you to meet with my accountant, meet with my lawyers. Then you really look into the deal, because on the 50 grand, 100, you don't do the due diligence you should do. You just don't even read the papers. But this way, I say, I'll take it all. I'm interested in the whole thing or nothing. So that way, I haven't done one of those yet.
Because then you find out what the hell's going on.
Usually they wouldn't pass the sniff test,
Yeah,
So don't say no.
Let me ask you. This is a little off. I didn't think I would talk to you about this, but I'm going to ask you since it kind of it lends into it. So, I can't tell half the time if these people that are presenting these things, which ones I've gotten better at it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll tell you, I had to lose a lot of money and a lot of time and a lot of stress and people blowing a lot of smoke until I realized that there are people that they have it. They are going to do whatever it takes. Doesn't mean they're going to succeed, but they're going to do whatever they possibly can to make it a success. And other people, it's just bullshit. Mm. They're selling a dream that they really have no intention of going the whole race, and they're hoping that at some point they're going to exit or sell it off to someone and deposit their, problem or their supposed vision. So they're coming to you with an idea, and if they don't have a track record, how do you evaluate if it's worth betting on that person? What are the characteristics or what are the things that you look for if someone has not had quote unquote successful businesses that they've done this before and they're asking for money? And I've never built any of my businesses by raising money. Anytime I need money, I find what people want, I figure out how to sell it to them, and that's how I raise my money, is I do it by selling stuff that people want to people. And there are businesses that require startup. There are businesses that are capital intensive in the beginning, or they want to scale or whatever, But I'll tell you, words like monetize and scale and all this stuff, these Silicon Valley words, are some of it's such bullshit. It's just hidden ways for people to con their way through getting people to get, and I think some people's business models is just raising a bunch of money and selling it off and then doing it all over again. And it's, I'm very suspect now of things, and I wasn't in the beginning. I mean, Jim could speak to this. I have literally thrown away probably $5 million, like just on bullshit. Sure. And it didn't sound like bullshit in the beginning, but you look back going, oh, okay, yeah, they were just, it's kind of a con job. And so, what do you look for?
Well, I went to, my wife and I were in Switzerland. We lived there for a while. And this UBS is a big bank. They came to us and they were raising something like $50 million. And cordially and just made me feel like I was so honored to be invited to this presentation they were going to put on. And they invited this other guy, and he said, well, he'd give them my name. So about 10 guys were in this room in Switzerland, and UBS had their best guys in Switzerland, in Geneva, pitching this new fund that was going to invest in China. So they were in there, and they made you feel very honored to be there, you know. And so I sat there listening to him, and my guy here, my friend, he was listening, and I couldn't understand it. Like, I just didn't understand it. So let me understand that. Hands up in the room. And I was the guy that I felt like a bit of an agitator because everybody else was nodding their heads. You know, everyone was going like this. And it just didn't add up to me how you could how are you going to invest in China? Well, how do you get it out? You know, the first thing I said, how do you get it back, you know? Well, we're going to sell the companies and, you know, the economy is going to go up and they're going to make all the money because China's doing so well, 1 billion people, you know. But how are you going to get it back? How are you going to actually exit strategy? What are the rules of the game? Is it, what, you know, all that. And it's UBS. You shouldn't, like, they looked at me like I was a dunce. You know, which reminds me of another story. The same way. Anyway, so I was the dumb guy in the room. The guy with me put in $5 million. Now, what would you say if they didn't do a good job? How much would they lose if they didn't do a good job, like of the fund? 10%, 20%, 30%? Yeah, they lost all of it. That fund, $50 million was gone, you know, and it's like that. And another, you know, I was in New York and I was just putting my company together. And I got this company, and I'm just a salesman selling mutual funds, and then a salesman selling real estate. And so I hire some guys. I'm going along, all of a sudden, I need an accountant, and I need this and need that. You know, and I don't know how to do that because I didn't learn how to do that. So I thought I better learn how to do that. So there's a course in New York that you go to, and it was like a 8-hour course, and it says, for $400, and I'm living in Edmonton, Alberta, in Canada. So $800, you go there and learn how to be a businessman. You know, I thought, I'm in. You know, 24 hours, fly the plane, night flight, get back. You know, so I go. So I'm in this room with 400 of these guys in suits and ties and real smart guys up there, and they were talking away. And honestly, I didn't understand a thing they were saying. Nothing. And it said that you can learn. I mean, I paid $400 to learn. You know. So, you know, I sat on my hands because a lot of times I want to talk, but other people. So I just sit on my hands to not talk. You know, so I'm sitting on my hands. And I said, excuse me. My name is Peter Thomas. I said, I'm from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, and I honestly don't understand the thing you're talking about. And the room, whoosh, the room of all these big guys, you know. Yep. She went down like that, and I'm thinking, oh my, just chill. I just felt, you know. And all of a sudden, this big, deep voice comes from the back room and said, my name is Robert Chernick. He said, and I'm a CPA here in New York City, and I don't understand a thing you're talking about either. I look back, you know, and there's Robert, and next thing goes, yeah, I don't understand either. You know, all of a sudden the whole crowd started to move around, you know.
No wonder your mic is scratchy there. I mean, you're pretty excited. Yeah, no, I'm kidding.
They shut the meeting down. They literally shut the meeting down, you know. And I went to the back and met Robert afterwards.
Wow.
And talked to him, and he became my friend for life, and I hired him. He's my CFO for 30 years.
That is I didn't even know that story.
Yeah.
That's it. Here, let me more for aesthetics. I just want to make sure you look good on camera here. That looks good. Awesome. No, that's great. So
yeah. So don't.
Wow.
But the answer to the question, Joe, is if you don't understand it, don't do it.
Yeah.
Just say no, and don't be embarrassed about it. Just like I still get embarrassed, but I do it. Force yourself through the embarrassment.
Yeah. Hey, I hope you're enjoying this video, and I want to let you know that I have a new book that's come out, and if you'd like to get it absolutely free, there's a link below in the description, or you can wait till the end of this video, or you can simply go to joesfreebook.com and you can get a copy there. No, that is such a good point because so many people, it's similar to many people would rather be well known than well paid. They would rather look good than like be embarrassed. Yeah. And I'll tell you, that's probably just the honesty and the admitting of I don't understand this is yeah. Okay, so talk about your son Todd.
Sure.
Yeah.
Todd had mental health issues all his life, and we had him till he was 35, and we lost him when he was 35 years old. He took his own life. He leaped off the Plaza Hotel in New York, and he's my chairman. He's my chair. I talk to Todd all the time, you know, and how he'd feel about stuff, and I learned like a long time ago. I always had this feeling, you know, when I was younger that I didn't I wasn't smart enough, didn't know enough, but just get punching ahead. And that's what you got to do, because you'll never be smart enough, you'll never know enough. So you surround yourself with people who are smart, who you can trust, who are good. And I remember when I was in 1974, that same year, I was blessed. I got accepted by the Young Presidents Organization, and they more or less went by results, not how smart you are. It's what you did, and what you had, and who you were. And so I got invited into that organization, and I was in it for many years. That's like 74 is 50 years ago. I get in, and when I lost Todd, I wanted to quit the organization, and I was on the board of YPO, and we had a board meeting on my boat. And the chairman of YPO was on the boat, and they had a committee on creating the next university, and I was a member of that committee. And I announced I'd lost Todd, and I was done. I'm done. I'm leaving. And that's when Rita and I went to Switzerland, and I said I'm finished. I'm done. It's over. I'll call you when I'm back. And I had a book with me that was kind of the book of my life. And so it was on my boat, so the book was sitting on the counter. It was just a 3-ring binder, and it was all stuff that I come to a meeting like this, I write stuff, and then I go to another meeting, I write some more stuff. So I always feel this: I need to learn all the time. I can learn from everybody. I want to read everything I hear about. So the book was a 3-ring binder, kind of organized, and the chairman of YPO was walked by the book and took a look at it and said, "What's this?" And I said, "Well, I didn't know it was out there." I said, "Sorry, I left it. There's my diary." He said, "Can I read it?" I thought, sure, I guess so. Why not? So he took it away. He was gone for 3 hours, never came back. Came back. He said, "Peter, I want you to teach this to YPO, to the forum. I want you to teach this." I said, "Well, how do you teach it? It's my book." So anyway, he said, "I want you to come down to Austin, Texas, and I want you to teach our YPO people this." So I said, "Okay." And I said, "Okay, let me try it." So I took the book and condensed it into a program we called Life Pilot. We renamed it and branded it and became a program, a 4-hour program into that book. And I carry, just for the exercise purpose, for you to tell you how deep you can get into this kind of stuff in this thing we call life. Life is a gift. It's such a gift, right? What are the chances of getting here? There's interesting. I lost one of my best friends. When you get to be 85, you start losing people. It's just crazy. He's 82. He was 82, and I lost Michael. And I got a bit of counseling, and there's grief and there's grieving, and you've got to move from grief to grieving. Grief is very sad because it's you alone feeling sorry for yourself of your loss. It's about you. But when you get to grieving, you can celebrate. And like with Todd, I'm grieving. But I celebrate his life all the time, I forgot where I was going to go with this. Which one?
Well, so you did Life Pilot. You started doing Life Pilot, and then, and then you.
I want to give you a bit more about Todd. But anyway, we did this program, Life Pilot, and I know what I want to do. Yeah, and so I'm always wanting to be organized. I love organization, and if you're not good but I'm not good at a lot of things that organization has, so I get people to help me organize, to keep like Rita. She's the most organized human in the world, so that gives up for some of
I can actually attest to that. The supplements of the house, like everything's pretty
So I have a formula. So one of the things I have is a formula. I have lots of formulas, like little letters and words that mean things to me. Like this formula, it's like this is my that same book, Life Pilot then, this is over 50 years, this is my 2024 goals. Peter Thomas, my 2024 goals. And it's Peter Thomas, 11th December 20, I finished it on November 7th, 23, and my formula for the whole thing is clarity, focus, and execution. Now that formula you can use for everything in your life. When you're looking at anything new, first get clarity. Like, do you understand what it is? Like, you're looking to buy a company, you're looking to start a new business, you're looking at getting married, you're looking at going on a trip. Get clarity. Let's just take a little example, like somebody says, "Hey Joe, you want to go to Greenland?" So Joe says, "Yeah, let's go to Greenland." Then Joe goes, "Well, what's Greenland? Like, what's that about?" He learns where it is. Would you ever want to go there? How many people live there? What do they do there? What's my interest in going there? You learn all about that. You get clarity. And then say, "Okay, I'm going to focus. How much does it cost? Who do I want to take with me? What time of the year is a good time to go? all that stuff, focus, and then you just execute. So all my life's been about that formula really works well for me. So clarity, focus, execution on everything you look at. So because a lot of times we do things and we don't have clarity. Like in fact, like when you're buying companies or starting companies, or you get full clarity and the economy changes. You're all set to go, and something you didn't figure out passed you on. A couple of books you should pick up and read if you, and I'm sure that when I show our hands, half at least will go up. But the half that isn't going up, take care and read it. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and How to Win Friends and Influence People, Dale Carnegie. Those two books still today are as good as they are, as good as they ever were the first time they came out. And you can read lots of current books. I try and read books all the time. We're just reading a book right now, Son of Hamas. I don't know if you guys ever read it, but oh my gosh, you sure will understand what's going on in the world. The bigger problems, So one thing I do is read all the time, Joe. I love to keep up reading and doing that kind of stuff. But this book here, it goes right to another huge thing. Like my little table of contents on it. It's tiny habits. Like habits are so critically important, And everything I have, like my wallet's in a certain place. If it's not there, it's gone. Like when I get out of my pocket, it goes into that little pocket. But it's there. So everything has a place, and there's a place for everything, But I just some of these tiny habits. I thought I know it might be fun for you to see, but.
It's funny when you gave me. We had met at Starbucks really early in the morning, like before I think it's the end of 2022, and you gave me your 2023 goals, and I took them, and then I wrote all over them, and it's just like, he's thoughtful about where he wants his life to go, and that's when I really began to understand, you designed this life, you created this stuff because you're very intentional about it, and you write it down, and you focus on it.
You've got to be.
So I'm curious to compare the newer ones to where you were and see where. So.
Well, like for example, I try and get up every morning 5 o'clock, and I go to bed 9. That's just kind of try and do that. Now you don't do it every day. You're traveling, stuff like that. But 5 to 9, and then I get up. And then I go 5 and snuggle Rita, have a nice snuggle, and then get out of bed, make Rita a cup of coffee. Yeah, it gets her day going. She loves that, and I get a lot of points. I get big points. It makes my day, So she's happy. I'm happy. We have a cup of coffee. Happy life, happy wife. Yeah. And so we do that. But then. And then I got remember how much minutes matter, because I tend to be slow. So I remember get on with it, because I got to work out at 6. My trainer usually comes at 6, or wherever I am, I got to go at 6. So shower, all that kind of stuff. Weigh in, and then I have a thing I call the word of the day. For me, the word of the day, and I just take a word and choose. Like today was to be kind. That's my word. I want to be kindness. But you have gratitude, you can have execution, you can have focus. Anything that you think, you can put words down. There's many, many words fit. But that word sets your intention for the day. And just you take a word like gratitude, like what are we grateful for? Well, it's so incredible, because you'd be grateful. I was grateful for my secretary. She was amazing. She saved my life, kind of thing, But you can be grateful for all these different things, and you honor the things you should be honoring in your life, and you do the things to make those things that make you work. You can give back to them, with gratitude. I have a big giant glass of water every morning, like before I sort of get going. I take my supplements and my pills, which Mrs. Thomas makes me take. I don't know what's in them. Check your text, check your emails. This is all before 6 and that, and then my MITs. I try and do the night before. I start with 5. I usually don't have 5, but what's the 5 things I want to get done today, the next day? So I do that the night before and think on them, and then you think during the evening. They sort of melt themselves. They solve themselves most of the time. The big stuff. And Brian Tracy 100 years ago, he wrote a book called Eat the Frog. Mm-hmm. Just eat the frog. Take your week, all the frogs. Get them on Monday's a good day for frogs. I try and get everything going on Monday. Do that. Your exercises, your workout, read the papers. With food, I've sort of got to the point where I try the ice cream doesn't count. But most of the food, you put something in your mouth, put it in for a reason. Like, what is it doing for me? Like, what does it feed me? Rather than just eat it because it makes me feel good. Like gives you a short high. So look at. I said, when putting food in your mouth, I said, ask yourself if it's healthy. You automatically do that. But I got here, except for ice cream. Hang upside down. I do that just for my back and stuff like that. Keep going. And yoga many times do that. Our dinners things are on time. Like I sort of eat at that early morning time. I have a bite to eat, and then lunch at 12 o'clock I want something to eat, and then about 5 or 6 we eat. So I do three a day, and everything works. Like everything just keeps working. Sometimes. Right, the most important things. I'll let Rita know how much I love her and give her constant snuggles and words of praise and encouragement. I probably tell Rita 100 times, 50 times a day I love her. I can't say it enough, for myself. So that and I get the same back. I mean, I get it back in multiples. Like, it's just so important in your relationship. Research people, deal, travel, just research stuff all the time. Make a happy call every day. Make one happy call every day. Make someone feel good. Someone else. Call Morley. Call Joe. He's having a shitty day. Hey, Joe. And don't bother me. I'm busy. No, I just want to stop for a minute. Just take it easy. How you doing? How's it going? What do you call me for? I'm just checking on you. How you doing?
I don't ever respond that way, by the way.
I'm making that up. Yeah. No, but do that, and start with your own family. Like start. Who haven't you called? What sister is out there that you haven't talked to? What child? But just make that one happy call a day, and don't put down 5 because you're going to get excited. Hell, I'll make 5. You won't do it. But one happy call a day, 7 calls a week. And you know who gets the most out of making a happy call? You do. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, can I ask you about responding and reinforcing positive stuff? I think it's something like 90% of marriages, when they have a death of a child, end in divorce. Mm-hmm. It's really hard. When you are losing it, when the grief is so overwhelming, what do you do?
Well, what happened to me was when we lost Todd, the one way of expressing it is almost like I was flying my airplane in a cloud of milk. My head was in a cloud of milk. I could hear you. I knew what was going on out there, but I couldn't see anything. I didn't care. I just didn't care about anything. And you have to. There's all these things you have to do when you lose somebody you're not aware of. The funeral, all that stuff, And so we had, of course, the ceremony, and I had to give the eulogy. And I looked at all these people. God, it was terrible. It was awful. So I said, I've got to be the strong guy. I have to take leadership here. I'm the head of the house. I got to do this. And I literally did a eulogy that was a day of celebration of Todd's life. And I reminded everybody, this is what Todd would want. He'd want you to celebrate his life, And he wrote, Todd wrote the most beautiful letter to me as a dad, and he let me know I had nothing to do with what he was doing. He was in such pain, from his mental health issues.
His depression,
and he couldn't get out of it, and didn't want. He made a decision. He was done. He was finished, and he was 35. The mostly used people. They said to me around early 20, like 2019, 2021. So he went 35. So we had him, a long time. I know the story I was going to tell you is about life. In grieving, and a story I lost Todd and I lost Michael now, but they say that when oh man, when you lose somebody like this, and you think about their lives, this guy said to me, Peter, I want you to just think of this. He said, just getting born, us here right now, just getting born, you won the lottery. I mean, that little seed making it through and getting you born, like, so 1 in a billion or something, So you won the lottery there. So if you live for 50 years on this earth, you had 50 years of winning the lottery. You enjoying the lottery, enjoying what that presented, all your life. You're doing the fun, the excitement, the living life, right? Well, Michael lived for 82 years. And I thought, my gosh, he had that, and he had a lottery, this guy. This guy was crazy. He had 4 wives. He had 25 grandkids. I mean, he had a life like and he was successful. Yeah, he was successful. I mean, he was an unbelievable guy, And I thought, man, that guy. I am so sad that I've lost him, but I am so happy to have had him. So happy he enriched. My life wouldn't be as rich as it was without Michael, or without Todd. So it's accepting realistically what it is, and that really helped me. That really helped me in grief, thinking about that we won the lottery, having that life. So
Yeah. Wow.
yeah.
Well, now you have the Todd Thomas Foundation.
Right, and that's why mental health. That's why you and I, boom.
Exactly.
Joe asked you for $100,000. I give it to him in 8 seconds.
Yeah, no, I mean, and so now you're helping a lot with my addiction foundation and everything too, which I greatly appreciate.
I tend to do more.
Yeah. Well, it's one of the things. It's interesting to me in America how much people hide death. I mean, unless you're a doctor or someone, you're a firefighter or a police officer, you can often go your entire life without seeing someone dead. And if you do, it's like open. There's not a lot of talk about pain and grieving and stuff. It's more now today than ever before. And I think, just the ability to process that, and if people don't, it will process you.
Yeah. Well, getting on a happier, a happier side of it. Each one of us, are responsible for ourselves. Each one of us are. So we've all got the same thing. We've all got 24 hours ahead of us. So what we do with that 24 hours, that's what's different. Like what's the difference you and the richest guy in the world, the poor kings and queens? It's time. It's just what you do with that time. So one of the things that's one of the reasons I do this. I organize myself because I take the calendar, for example, and I say, okay, there's an empty calendar. Now, well, what are we doing? Honey, where do you want to go? What should we do this year? Where should we go? So let's go to Vegas. Let's go, okay, when? Okay, put it in the calendar and you get the date going. Is that a good time? What other shows are on? And that's what we do. And it's just so phenomenal. And put things in that you're kind of fun. Like for example, there was that that zero plane, the plane that goes up and down and dives down, the zero gravity that they sell all the time. Well, I thought I got to try that, So four of us go on that plane, like about a couple of years ago. And Michael, thank God I went with Michael. Well, they threw me back and forth. I was the smallest guy, So the other guy threw.
Oh no, I've done it once. I mean, you're like a beach ball.
Like a beach ball. I was the beach ball. I was the ball. I mean, it was just crazy fun, And another thing I wanted to do years ago. Y'all remember the Concorde, that airplane, the Concorde that they had? Has anybody been on the Concorde? Well, so here's me. I'm sitting there. That looks interesting, And then we're talking about canceling it. They were talking about years ago. So I said, well, I better. But I had nowhere to go. I wasn't going anywhere. But I said, well, I'm going to go. So I went to England for the weekend. I went on the Friday so I could fly back on the Concorde to New York.
Wow.
So I get on the Concorde. But I got to tell you the experience. So we're on the Concorde, and I am so excited. It's like a long Lear jet. And it's very narrow, very, very narrow, and two and two, and the aisle has a special cart that's about that wide. You're really like this, you're kind of close. And so, and they put you in you get there in the airport, and then we're going to a special place in the airport. So you got a special place, red carpet, and then you're meeting with, there's Maharajas and things that you're thinking in your head anyway, all these people, because it costs like crazy, stupid money. It costs like maybe 10 grand when a ticket to England was maybe 500, But anyway, so I'm there, and I'm in there, and I just get excited. I can't wait. I get on the Concorde, and they start the thing up. You get, now, ladies and gentlemen, put your seatbelts down, fasten your seatbelts, trays up. We're going to Concorde. Thing goes, takes off. I'm excited, and it gets up and it goes up and then it starts leveling off. And about 35,000 feet, and I'm going to look out the window. And I mean, it's great, but not that great, I mean, I had Air Canada experience that was just as good, I'm thinking. So I'm wondering what they take your seatbelts off, remove your seatbelts, sit back, chair trays up, and the girls are starting to serve stuff. Like, holy crap, 10 grand, and I got to go to all. So anyway, we're sitting there for about 10 minutes. Seatbelts, fasten your seatbelts, put on your seatbelts. They're taking away stuff. They're going away. We're now going to go into Concorde flight. Oh, so the plane's sitting like about 35,000 feet. It's like this, You'll love this, Martha. They go, and it takes off a second takeoff.
Wow.
Just like the first takeoff. Only it's at 35,000 feet, and you go straight up to 52,000 feet. Well, at 52,000 feet, you actually can see the curve of the Earth. It's just the beginning of seeing it. Well, I looked at and they got a little just exactly like that clock right there, that big clock that you got, Joe, and it's turning like this. And the 7's going it's going 5, 4. It's going boom, 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 and as it gets in the car, because I think is it 2,000 miles. I think it's 2,000. Something like it's the speed. It breaks the speed of sound. That's what they can't fly it over. So you're going faster than the speed of sound. So the experience was like crazy, unbelievable, and it lasted me for a long time. So what I challenge you guys to do, every one of you here, go on a Concorde flight. Now, on your Concorde flight, it might be a toboggan up in Alaska. It might be go to Greenland. Just go, and you go for a weekend, like whatever it is. But the reason I'm so excited all the time is I'm doing exciting stuff all the time. I'm not doing just with exciting people, and I surround myself with these great people. So you're always happy because tomorrow is going to be better than today. So you keep yourself, if you can keep yourself motivated, and the way you get that, it's just like, some people, that's my heroine, is doing exciting, fun stuff with fun people. And it might be just having dinner. I see Jennifer back there, I mean, Jennifer's been an old buddy for, I don't know, 30, more than 30 years, But she's fun, she's happy, she's excited about life. Everybody knows her, that's what she is. So surround yourself with people like that, who love life, so that you can excite each other.
Right. That's great advice. Well, so what is the secret, if there is, secret is an interesting word. What's the secret to getting wealthy?
I think this might be it.
I think that has a lot to do with it.
Okay. Well, here's
I'm doing exciting
they're
things.
doing the fun, exciting things, but I pulled this one story in here. By the way, I read this stuff every Sunday. I read this book every Sunday, and it might take me 15 minutes because I know it pretty well. I'm back and forth, but it reminds me all the time. But just listen to this one. Do you all remember, if I say the name Eddie Arcaro, who he was? How many people know? Joel, who was Eddie Arcaro?
He was
Use the mic. Use the mic.
a real tiny guy.
Eddie Arcaro was a jockey. He was the first guy to make major money. I'll just tell you a wee bit about him. He's one of the most famous jockeys that ever lived, George Edward Arcaro. He was known as Eddie to millions and millions of people. He was the only man to win 2 Kentucky Derbies. He won 17 Triple Crowns races and 2 Triple Crowns on Whirlaway. You heard about the horse Whirlaway and, of course, Citation. He did those 2 races. He was the leading money winner for three annual years. He was the leading money winner in horse racing. When he retired, he had won 549 stake races and over $30 million. And that's, a few years ago. Both were records. But what is overlooked about all this success and this extraordinary career, now listen to this one. This is crazy. He lost his first 250 races. Now just think of this. Well, I want to be a horse racer. So I'm going out to the stable today and have my first race. How'd you do? Well, I lost. My second race. Well, I'm going to be a horse racer. How'd you do? I lost. 250 times. He didn't lose in his. He was getting the win. He was getting closer to winning. That's all. And I tell you the same to you. If you're bent on your goal, failure isn't. It's not there. You don't fail at something. You just keep trying until you win. Until you win that, until you get that prize. And that's what I tell you success was before. What did I say? What did I tell you the definition of success was? A preset goal. That's what Eddie set his goal. I'm going to be a successful jockey, and he did. But that's not the only one. There was another one I had here. The same thing. Baseball. Time magazine did an article between the definition of failure and success of these baseball players. A top league hitter who hits 250. 250 hitting average, makes about $50K a year. If he boosts that up to 333 from 250, he makes $500,000 a year. From 50,000 to 500,000. In order to go from 250 to 350, the difference between that is that he needs 1 more hit every 3 games. If you just 3 whole games, just gets 1 more hit, he moves from 250 to 300. and he becomes a $500,000 a year earner. So it's the same with us. If you just keep it like 18, 3 and 1, you make those darn 18 calls, you put on those 3 presentations, you get to be better. You just get better and better, and you start hitting better. Next time, no, I'm not going to strike at that one. This looks good. And you'll get to know how to not practice makes perfect. Those 10,000 hours, and that type of thing. So don't start something without the attitude. I am gonna do this. I'm going to do this, and then you gather around whatever you need to do it. But failure isn't an object.
No, I love it. So I'm 56 years old right now.
Yep. Therapy session, Joe? Therapy? Okay, guys.
No. So what would you tell your 56-year-old self?
What I would?
Everyone's like, what would you tell your 18-year-old self?
Joe, and I saw you writing the board, and there you wrote one of those things on that card. It was about the Joe Polish show. Mm-hmm. And you put down, why should I do it? Was your question, why should I do it? Why should I do the Joe Polish show?
The reason of why I'm doing a variety show, because there's so many different interesting people that I interview that don't really fit into marketing or don't really fit into business. Yeah.
What I was going to say, if you and I were sitting down, like I was in the back room thinking about, I love the idea, by the way. So I thought, why wouldn't you?
Right.
I never thought, why would you? I thought, well, why wouldn't you? It just seems to be a perfect pinnacle. I wouldn't, and I'd call it the Joe Polish show.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say the show or.
What's funny about too? I've had the domain name for probably a decade.
Yeah.
I just didn't pull the trigger on it.
Yeah, I would do that because it's a perfect platform for you.
Yeah.
It's the perfect next step. Like me just trying this social media thing I'm doing right now. I never dreamed in a million years I'd do anything with social media. A million years. And so I tried it. And next thing you know, Angels came around. Like, this guy got a gal in New York, Yessie. She's crazy. She's unbelievable. She's just great, And read my little. Did you bring your hat, honey, with you? What does her hat say? It says.
That is funny.
Rita's sister said her hat, so she can't. We cannot do anyone unless it's got Madam Director, But we're at the airport, and Rita say, "Okay, I'll do a 1 minute shot." And I've actually trademarked the 1 minute mentor. So you're going to all see, effective March 1st, there's going to be Peter Thomas, the 1 minute mentor. Just 1 minute shots, like for example, the frogs. I just boom, and say stuff that's topical. It's right now, so it's going to be fun. That's like your Joe Polish show. You don't know where it's going to go. I just checked this morning because I don't know how many followers we have. I looked. You guys, all follow me. It'd be kind of fun, and taking you on the journey with me. But I got 9,600 followers. To me, that 9,000. I come from a town with 1,000 people. So, you mean I'm 9 times
where do you
bigger?
have 9,000 at? Because that's on
9,600 right now.
On what platform?
It's on. If you
on all
adding
of
them up.
Okay.
Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and TikTok.
Okay.
Those all added to. LinkedIn's the biggest, but Instagram is just booming up.
Yeah.
That's the one that's really coming now.
Yeah.
LinkedIn was the biggest one because that's what I started with.
Right.
So it's kind of. So I'm measuring, and I set a goal. I said, my whole team, I said, okay, we're going to do this thing till March 30th. I'm done March 30th. So prepare to wind it up, see how we're doing. Then if we might make a decision to do it for the whole year. But it's fun in something you're not quite sure of.
Yeah.
You've got to find your way. You got to talk to. So that's why I've been talking to Michael, and I've been talking to Evan.
Right.
Same as you.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah.
Well, and see, that's genius networking. It's finding people that have skills and talents. You put them together. Yeah. In order to have a genius network, you have to do genius networking, and you have to be a genius networker, which means you actually approach people with what's in it for them. You approach them and being helpful and useful. And
and all you guys get, like the ones you're getting started and you're running challenges. I could tell you a story that inspired me. It's called the Fly Story. So, sitting down looking at a board one day, and when I'm from a small town in Alberta, northern Alberta, and probably the flies are that big there. They're huge, So I have a lot of fly stories. But you go to there's a window like this, there like that. The window's there. And there's an open window right here, and this fly was going bzz, 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 against this window. Bzz, bzz, I wonder, anyway. Bzz, bzz. So I would leave it alone for a while, come back, and I look, there's no more. Bzz, bzz. I look right down on the ledge. There's about 15 dead flies. So they're just laying there dead, and there's an open window here, an open window. And I'm wondering, well, why wouldn't the fly back up, and instead of going bzz, 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 go through the open window? Because it'd be so much easier. I said the same thing to you. when you're doing your work and you go, bzz, 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 you know, some people do that. But, you know, you heard people get stuck, and you get stuck. The fly was stuck. He just like he couldn't see the glass, couldn't see it, so he just didn't know any better. If that stupid fly went to school and he learned to look at things and look at the world as a whole, look at why isn't it going? You know that you have this great plan and you're ready to go. You're going to make it work, but it's just not working. Well, that's where your genius network. Pick up the phone, call somebody. But you know, a lot of times we got this stupid thing called our ego, right? And we're so champion. We walk the earth and we're big and smart and all that stuff. That's just so much BS, you know. We're not. We're just. Everybody will tell you that if anybody who's successful that I know, look around the amazing people they have around them. Look at their networks. That's when they're amazing, because that means that this is a journey. This life it's tough. It's really, really tough. It's not easy, but it's easier if you can share it and if you have people around you who you can trust. You know, like a trust. You know, and that's a huge thing. What I said: sharing, caring, and trust. Every relationship you should get into. Everybody, can I share? Do I care? And do I trust? Because that's the most important thing in the world. And what you get here.
I love it. Okay, I hope you found that video awesome and useful. So if you want to get a free copy of my book, I want you to click here. And if you want to watch some more videos that'll be useful and awesome, click here. Go ahead. They're over here. Do it now. Come on. Thank you. Watch them.